ring temperature triggers to gain advantage with cards like Call of the Ring or Sméagol or Galadriel. Aside from that, it's a pretty standard deck, so we're going to use Frodo with Legendary Matters for the rest of the cards. So let's run through it one by one. Niv-Mizzet. Into Supreme Verdict, we've got Bilbo for an ETB and Leaves for the ring temps. We're running a Flame of Anger for removal. We have Kolaghan's command to buy back some of our creatures when they destroy artifacts. Sméagol is discussed, we're going to steal some opponent's lands. Galadriel is going to help us find our own lands. Growth Spiral for ramp, Frodo for ring temperature triggers. Rip Apart for removal. Assemble the team to find pieces. Kolaghan, Tyrant Scorn just to remove creatures. Vanishing Verse for removal. Call of the Ring to get card draw from the ring temps and set up a standard ring temp as it goes. And Delighted Halfling for ramp and interaction. There's our mana base. It'll be in the description below. And our sideboard is anti-control cards. An Aragon for fun grindier matchups. Removal, Weenie Hate, and buyback effects, because we're pretty heavily invested in getting our legendary creatures down to steal stuff. Basically, we're going to make a full board with Frodo, a few of our other rings, temperature triggers, and other legendary creatures, and then hope to use Yorion to flicker them and get a massive end of turn steal most of their lands. Let's see how we get on. Alright, we are shooting off with our first match with the ring deck. We'll drop a Triumph first. Pretty decent hand here, turn 3 Sméagol. Shock in Sacred Foundry, deploy Frodo, our first ring trigger. Opponent plays a Knight of Malice. Play another Triumph here, swing in with Frodo because it can't be blocked. Our opponent taps out for a Sword of Fire and Ice. Find the Niv-Mizzet, so let's play the Zetra Triumph and use Kolaghan's command to kill the Knight and blow up the Sword of Fire and Ice. Ping for 1. Opponent plays Seal from Existence to take away Frodo. We'll play Jitmir's Garden and deploy Sméagol. Opponent plays a Niv-Mizzet and plays a Bazzi's Tenant, which is protection from our whole deck basically. So let's destroy Seal from Existence, pay the ward, get back Frodo, trigger Sméagol. We take a land off them in Scry 1, we'll put that land on top. Here's where I might make a terrible miscalculation. They may a double strike lord, swing in for 7. I play a land and use Growth Spiral here. Thinking that I can use Tyrant Scorn to bounce the Knight. But I get greedy and go for a Growth Spiral, not realizing that I only have 1 blue source. Now realizing I can't cast anything, I ultimately concede in shame. Always track your colours when you play 5 colour. Right, creature based deck. Let's bring in Aragon, because his ability to make 1/1s will be pretty decent. I look at what I could potentially do here, what we got up against it. We'll get rid of Call of the Ring because we need to keep in the Delighted Halfling and Call of the Ring just to give us some protection. So, assemble the team Galadriel and most importantly a board wipe, so we'll keep that. Opponent plays a tap Temple of Silence. We shock in a Temple Garden. Play assemble the team here. Find a Frodo. Let's get the Galadriel engine running, see if we can get some effects down. Tapped Watery Grave into Frodo Baggins. Frodo gets the first temp to the ring. Niv-Mizzet into Steal from Existence to again steal our Frodo. So we'll just play out a Galadriel here. Drop a Fable Passage, crack that to grab a red. Opponent plays a Alchemy card I'm not familiar with, so we'll drop the Clifftop Retreat into Niv-Mizzet. Reload into a solid hand. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Marshal of Vidalfia. Opponent is Esper Knights, which is pretty decent. We will play a land. I decide, looking at it, that I'm going to use Bilbo Baggins. Give Niv the Ring Bearer trigger here. Stack our deck. We're going to dig down and find some answers. We'll play a island off the top, swing in for Niv, get the loot effect. We'll drop a Triumph. Hit them down to 14. Opponent plays a land. plays the Circle of Loyalty. In response, we will Growth Spiral to their attack, put another land into play tapped. They grab a card, we will block with Bilbo. They flash in the Black Lance's Paragon to gain lifelink. We get a trigger on our end step here. We're going to set it up so that we can get the K command next turn, because we can take out Circle of Loyalty and bring a creature back here. So, first things first, we'll attack with Niv-Mizzet, loot, throw away the basic land, hit them down to 14. We'll use Supreme Verdict to clear the board. Then we can use Kolaghan's command to return Niv-Mizzet to our hand and destroy the Circle of Loyalty. Then we can pass the turn. They play a Night of Sorrows. Just to keep the board clear, we're going to crack this Fabled Passage, grab our last basic, use Tyrant Scorn here to bounce that back to hand so you have no board presence, redeploy on Niv-Mizzet.
Reload!
We find a Sméagol and a Vanishing Verse. So let's play the Rip Apart here, and our opponent just concedes out of the game. And then oddly enough, concedes out of the entire match, which was very strange. Yeah, we had the better match there, but I didn't think it was necessary. Okay, second match here. We have an Elvish Norn. And we get no land, so it's a mull. We'll put the basic on the bottom here, because we want to apply pressure if we can. Opponent starts with a Steam Vent, which doesn't do me good for the survival rate of our creatures. Play a Swamp, strike it rich, possibly some kind of creativity deck. Then instead they play another land. And play a Wishclaw Talisman, interesting. In response we will Growth Spiral here. We will put a land into play tapped. We will play assemble the team here, holding back the Fable so we can see what we need to play for. I'm going to take the Rip Apart to get rid of that Shooter. There are some combo decks in this deck that I don't, this format that I'm not aware of. But the fact that they have the Wishclaw means they mustn't be a creativity deck, so I'm even more scared now, so we'll just kill that immediately. Opponent's turn, they play an Everflux Reservoir, which is interesting, so we'll drop a Frodo Baggins, get the first trigger on the ring, play Sméagol, trigger again, steal a land from them. Interesting, we steal their top land, so we don't get any information off the mill. They shock in a Blood Crypt. We shock in a land here. We're going to use Bilbo the Retired Burglar here, in case they have removal or counterspell. Two Tempting the Ring triggers here. We steal their land and we mill a ton, so they appear to be a Mind's Desire Storm deck from the mill. They appear to be playing Tainted Pact as well, which is interesting, which could mean that they don't run many basics, so they might not even have a high land count at all, so this could be interesting here. They use Tainted Pact with the Everflux Reservoir and start milling cards. As you can see here, Tainted Pact works until they get the cards with the same name. So the odds are they aren't running too many basics. They get two Strike It Riches and we see a Mind's Desire there. They use Big Score to gain some life back and draw some cards. They Footsees us. They take Niv-Mizzet, but in hindsight, probably should have took the Yorion, based on how their deck is constructed. Expressive Iteration gets them back up to 18 life. They put Nodawara onto the exile. Pass back to us. We'll swing in, we'll hold the Fable for the loot from the ring. Discard the Fable. Hit our opponent down to 9. Make a treasure. Now we'll use Yorion. And we'll blink our creatures here after one more Sméagol trigger. We'll blink everything we got. We'll give the Yorion the ring. Play our land. End step. These come back, which gives us 4 more temp triggers, so we'll steal 4 more lands from them. We mill down. They mill a lot of cards, if you can see how many cards they're losing here, because they don't seem to have that many lands. We see Bolas' Citadel and many more scary cards. They are down to 2 cards in library here. Man, that was insane. We barely stole any lands from them, and as you can see here, there wasn't many basics. So using that information will come into sideboarding later. They Mind Stone to draw their last card here. They have 1 more card in deck. They're checking what's left in their deck, and they concede. Okay, we are up against the Storm deck. So Veto's in, Assassin Trophy's in, we know they don't have many basic lands, and Fracture's in to deal with Wish Claws and other scary things. Call of the Ring is too slow here, so we'll take that out. Yep. A very fun, interesting deck. I'd be interested to see how well it goes off normally. Obviously we were very disruptive here. They were low land count decks, so we can just take them out pretty easily. This hand is acceptable. They play tapped Steam Vents, we'll play tapped Overgrown Tomb. They play 40 ratio on turn 2. Check our lands here. We have all 5 colours, so we can cast pretty much anything. They don't care about the Supreme Verdict, they take Bilbo, so let's play a Frodo Baggins on 2, given the ring temperature trigger. Expressive Iteration from the opponent. They exile a land, play it. We'll play a land untapped to hold up a Tyrant, Scorn to balance Frodo if we have to. Opponent plays a 4th land. Plays a Cold Steel Heart. Playing black. Pass the turn. Play a land. We can play a second Frodo here, and I'm only doing this purely to get some more ring temperature triggers because we need the looting effect here because we are not getting mass action. We swing in, loot away a Supreme Verdict because it's completely useless. Opponent plays a Tainted Pact, exiles, and keeps going. And they keep the bounce spell, the alchemy bounce spell, Vesuvian Mists. Shocking or Watery Grave. Play the Ether Reservoir. And bounce Frodo. Interesting. Right, we draw a Fracture here. I consider using this, but the instant speed's way better, so we use Rip Apart, take out the Ether Flux Reservoir. We'll play a untapped land so we can redeploy our Frodo. Ring is fully leveled up, so we're ready to go in and start doing some major damage. Opponent plays Urabrask. We draw another Frodo here, which is absolutely insane, so we'll swing in with our Frodo, loot away our 3rd Frodo, put him down to 14, play a land untapped, and Growth Spiral to see if we can draw any action. We don't, so we'll just pass here, holding up 2 interactive spells. They swing in, putting us down to 10, and play Oracle of the Alpha. They conjure the power 9 into their deck. So we're going to Tyrant, Scorn, destroy that Oracle before it does any more damage. Right, now we can play Galadriel, who'll start looping us some lands. So we'll bring up these 2 lands here to get some interaction. We also want the second land here because we're going to loot with the attack from Frodo. We're going to get rid of the Fracture, which was an interesting choice because I'm going to put Yorion into hand here. They swing in for 4, putting us down to 6, which is dangerous. Very dangerous because in hindsight I was unaware that Urabrask does a damage every time it generates a mana to us. Their Mind's Desire finds no action, so we'll assemble the team here. I look at all 4 Nivs in the top quarter and get really mad at the Shuffler. Then decide on the Flame of Anor here because it has the ability to straight up just kill Urabrask. So we'll swing in with our team, loot away a land. They go down to 3 here. They play a Defense Grid into a Mind's Desire. They loot away a land and a Duress. So no action there, so we swing in with our team and end the game. I had fun in that match. Their deck was very creative and very cool. I would have loved to have seen it go off, but sadly it didn't. Final match of this set. And this is why I shouldn't play tired. So they play an Esper Sentinel, we play a tap land. Swing, and like a fool I realise I played the wrong land. They play a Valkyrie here. We play a Zetour's Triome, play a Frodo. Frodo is great against Esper Sentinel here because we can actually use it to get some damage done. If I remember. So first things first, we have to Vanishing Verse Shalai because we screwed up. We'll pay for the Esper Sentinel. Shock in, play the Delighted Halfling. I should have attacked in there because the Esper Sentinel would have been forced to block. And now they've got the pump, which makes it unbladeable. This is why you shouldn't play tired. Vanishing Verse, the Righteous Valkyrie, they draw a card, but we could just still be dead here, particularly if they just have any kind of way to pump their team. We mill a ton of cards off that steel there, so it looks like they might be pretty low on lands. They have a Limvala, and yeah, we are just pretty much dead here. We're down to 3, and they destroy our Frodo. We draw something that can't kill anything, so we'll just pass the turn. Yeah, that was a snowball situation where my misplay early came through and really screwed me over. So, Call of the Rings out, Helix is in to deal with small creatures, Assassin's Trophy in, there's more kill spells. We'll take out the Bilbo and we'll take out one of the Gladriels and then we'll pass back. This hand's way more solid, and Supreme Verdict here is great against if they go insane straight away. They don't have a turn 1 play, so we will play our untapped here. We want to answer anything they drop. So I'm going to deploy Frodo now. On 3 they play Bishop of Wings, so we'll Tyrant Scorn that immediately. The Frodo attack is only great against this deck if we can get it to level 3, force him to sacrifice. Oketra's Monument is going to eat a Rip Apart. Play a land untapped, put Yorion into hand here, attack with Frodo. Opponent plays a Mondrak, Glory Dominus, so we'll just exile that with Vanishing Verse, swing in. We'll play the Flame of Anor to draw 2 cards. Find another land. Opponent's got 5 mana, plays an Angel of Wrath, kicking it to get some life. We will Vanishing Verse the Angel of Wrath and deploy a Gladriel to sort out some land drops here. This hand is absolutely insane, so we Sméagol and then we pass because I want to hold up everything in our hand here. They play Righteous Valkyrie and a Youthful Valkyrie. So this is great. So Tyrant Scorn kill the Righteous Valkyrie. Sméagol to get the steal and triggers from all of our lands, but to make Frodo level 3 here. They mill an Avacyn, which is great for them. So we swing in with Frodo and Gladriel. They have to block Frodo, and the Ring's 3rd level will trigger, forcing them to sack the Valkyrie. They play another Angel of Destiny. So we'll play Bilbo and start the trigger game. Stealing their lands, making our land drops. As you can see here, we'll get rid of Call of the Ring, it's not doing too great here. Play that tapped. Now we'll play Yorion and we will blink our entire board. We get 1 more trigger for Yorion entering. Keep the lands that way. Then we will blink everything, giving us another Sméagol trigger on the end step, and our opponent concedes because they've seen enough. So we managed to pull off the combo here. Let's go into game 3. I like the deck, we're going to run it back the way we're playing it. Alright, a okay thing. We need white mana desperately to cast anything, but we do have removal and a Niv for the late game. So tap Watery Grave first. Opponent drops a Gladiator on 2, so we'll kill that with Tyrant Scorn. Opponent plays 3 mana and plays a Star Helm Apparent, which makes all their things cheaper. So we'll shock in another land here and we'll use Assassin's Trophy to immediately kill that. I don't like ramping them, but I'd rather them not ramp into their 6 or 7 drop angels super quick and easy. We still need white mana here, they drop an Elspeth to Splint. And we still can't draw white mana, so we'll get here. We'll crack Fable of Passage, get a white mana, play our Frodo, play our red source, so we have a Niv-Mizzet next turn, we're in an okay position. They have the Sarah Paragon, replay Gladriel, the Font of Hope, and pass the turn. I choose to deploy Niv-Mizzet here, which is a bit greedy in hindsight. We get a pretty decent hand, we have double Vanishing Verse, but we still only have the 1 white mana. So I'm going to swing in here and loot, try to find some answers, get rid of the Growth Spiral. They have to block, so they lose a land here. They Legion to Ash our Frodo, and they get their buyback. Put them super cheap here. We have to get rid of the Elsbeth, which is probably a mistake in hindsight, so now we'll use Sméagol here. I start milling them, which is probably not a good idea because they get a lot of triggers off their Sarah Paragon, but that only gives them one cast. And if we can get rid of the scary stuff, I'm not too bothered. We're going to hold back blockers here. Our opponent plays the Avacyn Angel of Hope, so yeah, now we've got to use our removal on our exile, on that. So we'll exile the Angel of Hope. Put Yorion into hand here. Shock in the Sacred Foundry. Cast Yorion. Blink our entire board. Get a bit more trigger for the lands. Right, play that. They lose another Legion of Ashes. We'll kill Galadriel, the Font of Hope. We will be okay as long as that lasts. Except there's one problem. We've milled the Valkyries here and we're going to die because I didn't have the removal for the Sarah Paragon. Basically we got screwed over with struggling for white mana here. Yep, there's the Righteous Valkyrie that got milled. They drew another Esper Sentinel. And they had a Shalai in their hand. This match was pretty much over when it started. And with free lifelinkers, there's no way we can get the damage down here, so I'm just going to kill the lifer, get a few more triggers here, hope for a decent draw. We draw a land, get rid of that. We draw a Rip Apart, which doesn't do it. We'll swing in, loot, and that doesn't do it, so we lose this final match. Good sets overall, definitely needs work.